almost ready to call. All right, call to order our July 7th, 2026 meeting for Richland Township Board. Beginning with our minutes, received a packet, should have our minutes from our last meeting. An opportunity to read those. I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes. First by Bill, second by Dale. Any questions or comments? If not, we have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is our June financial statements. Our key bank checking account. You have the statement in balance. You have bank statement in balance of $43,234.71. And I need to take a motion in a second to be able to discuss all that. I'll entertain a motion to accept the July 7th presentation of June business.
Motion.
Michelle?
Second.
Second by Bill. All right, so we have a key bank checking ending balance of $43,234.71. Next is the PNC account, checking account. You have the statement there and in balance with a balance of $201,101.68. Next item is the PNC savings account in balance. You have a bank statement, $302,724.69. I have some comments about banking and checking here in a few moments. Next item is the month-end fund balance sheet. Rainy day fund sits as it always does, $27,734. Township fund, $464,326. Donation, $76,75. Township assistance, $22,297. EMS non-reverting fund, $27.99. Got a check from those for a while. That should be pretty well done, I would think. Fire equipment debt fund, $14,391.76. Cemetery conveyance fund, $39,28.58, and payroll deductions of $1.48, and a grand total of $540,384.08. The bank register shows all the checks in and out for the accounts. You'll notice there 3/4 of the way down on June 22nd, a transfer of funds from Key Bank to PNC of $300,000. We'll be, after a little business tonight, we'll be closing that account out tomorrow, Thursday. Next item is the township report year to date. 50% of the year. Payroll, category 1, we're at 49%. Category 2, supplies at 12%. You can see all the others down the line there. A grand total of 38%, so we're well under budget, and we're also well preparing to spend money here for budgeted items as normal. Any questions or comments about the account balances, statements, ledgers?
No.
Now we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item. And I thought I had a list here. Oh, it is I'll order the next, skip to the trustee mileage allowance. This is what happened last month. I forgot to do it. The key bank, we've been waiting to close that account until everything clears. Everything has cleared. I already have a resolution regarding that transfer to PNC. We have 2 checks that we need to clear out, declare as a stale check, one, and a duplicate check as the other. And I don't have to have a duplicate check. We'll make it as an official action anyways. The 2 checks dating back from 5/24. That was a check to Travelers. It was lost in the mail, never cashed. We actually replaced it a long time ago. And then there was a duplicate check that was entered in falsely. There's a reason why the clerk does most of the data entry on those, because as I asked her about it, she said, "You did it. It says right there, Thomas Stein." So that's a duplicate check. I'll entertain a motion to clear those 2 checks. One's a declared stale check, and then one's a voided check.
Second.
Second, Bill and Dale. Any questions or comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So the intent is tomorrow or Thursday to go down to Key Bank, officially close that account and have them write a check to be deposited directly then into PNC. It is so nice, the first day of the month at 7:30 in the morning to go, there's our statement. That is just a wonderful thing. The guy who managed that, it's taken us, 6 months to finally get to the point of clearing everything and getting everything changed. He kept asking me, he goes, "I'm not seeing a whole lot of activity." I said, "We're working on it." So we're happy to get that accomplished. Trustee mileage allotment, long submission date on there. The beginning mileage, ending mileage, purpose, totals that go around $83.33. I'll entertain a motion to accept the trustee mileage allotment.
Motion.
And motion by Michelle, second by
Second.
Dale. Any questions or comments? Not? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the vote of the East Madison Fire Territory budget. It goes to us, it goes to Union, then it goes back to the territory. So we're in the process of that. You have 2 pages. And I'll turn that over to one of the chiefs to explain or give the overview, bird's eye view, what we're looking at here. Start.
Okay. It's about a $200,000 increase. The main things that went up is the perf for the retirement for the full-time guys. The state statute changed. Our contribution had to go up. We've raised it the last 2 years. We actually raised it last year after we already approved the 26 budget. So we're kind of catching up with the 27 budget. We're a little short on that this year. Probably moved a couple things around. The other is an increase in health insurance. And then we did a 3% raise for all employees. So the health insurance was a 10% raise or 10% increase. PERF went up 6% over the last 2 years. Those are the big hits.
So on the bottom of the second page, here, it shows the $223,000 increase, which is 5.81%. Chief has already explained where the bulk of that has come from. So.
There's actually a simple question. That's kind of highlights. That's what changed this year.
And that is the preliminary fashion already gone to the territory board.
Yes, yeah, it was presented last month, the territory board approved, but the territory board was due tonight, and it goes back to you for the final adoption next month.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I got all my questions answered, like in the territory
Yeah.
meeting, so I'm good with it.
Those crunching numbers. Smoke, ears are starting to smoke.
I don't know what we gotta do.
Okay, the one thing I question about, and it's just first, you show there's no increase in fuel, 65,000.
We budgeted, we're gonna be higher this year. So 65,000 is what we have this year. Last year, we only ended up spending about 40,000, and we kept it at 65 this year, so we increased early on, we're still on.
Since you're getting your fuel the same price it was a year ago.
Yeah, but
You
we,
know what it
what,
was.
yeah, so for the first 6 months, we're still substantially cheaper, so. Yeah, we're not getting the same price we were a year ago,
Right,
this
thanks.
year. We're gonna have wiggle room still in the budget this year, so.
I tell them when
Michelle and I have already, we saw this at the territory meeting, that's what we had the questions.
Engine 7,
We had all our questions.
1708
2
B
weeks
Street.
ago.
Dan Soder
Right.
inside.
Any other
Engine
questions?
7.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the territory budget for 2027.
Motion.
Motion by Michelle, second by Will. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item. Next item is the amendment to township guidelines regarding the library cards. This will go into our township guidelines booklet. The Richland Township Board adopts the following amendment to the Richland Township guidelines, assistance guidelines. Assistance applicants in need of library access may be eligible to receive a library card at no expense at the discretion of the trustee with the following guidelines. Application for the assistance is completed and reviewed, approved. The applicant does not have access to a library card through other means, such as a student in the home with a library card. And then a library card is needed for assistance on request for other assistance, including but not limited to housing applications, employment or education application, or benefits. We discussed this last week, I think it's the last meeting. We had a discussion with a lawyer and whether or not we were able to do this out of township funds and that sort of thing. This is kind of the document that deals with all that. Any questions, comments?
That be through the Anderson Library, Alexander Library?
That would be for whatever library system that the resident is part of. So the folks on the north side would be Anderson or Ellick. South side would be Anderson. Which was one of the problems with us supporting one library over the other. This deals with it all across the board. All right, any other questions?
Within the township.
Oh, yeah, they still have to qualify as a township resident for assistance in the whole process. And the purpose, as the attorney stated, was to be able to, even though they have library access, anybody can go in and sit down at the computer and look at stuff. The only thing card does is let you take stuff out. If they're needing access to improve their housing, employment type of situation, we're able to assist them if they qualify under the other categories. All right. Any other questions? Michelle?
No.
I'll then entertain a motion to accept the amendment to the assistance guidelines as presented.
Motion to accept.
Dale? Second by Michelle. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We have begun our Richland Township landscaping services. Filed two weed leaves this morning. Last week, my mower, he asked how early he could start because that's what it was 90-some degrees outside. And I said, well, the neighbors are the one who's complaining. If they want to complain because you're making noise, they'll call me, I guess. But the one place, he's sitting on his tractor and the weeds and grass are taller than his head. He called me at 2 o'clock at the end of the second one, says, I got to go home, I'm passing out. And I said, yes, don't do that. So fortunately, we have a couple of our frequent flyers, we'll say, repeat patient or repeat customers. And as soon as I get a call on them, I'll take care of that and work forward to it. Any other questions on mowing? Don't make a complaint.
I had a conversation with the guy that owns the property on Scatterfield where we have the training house on. I'm sure you might know, but it's pretty bad. For one, we're trying to use that property actually for training. See if he can get that mowed. What his plans were, he wants to get it mowed, but he's got some chunks of concrete in different spots in there. For one, he says to people, I assume he's talking about buildings, but it's been for a couple of times, it's not on mower because.
Yeah, you can't. That's up to Terry's equipment.
He's working to try to get that concrete removed, but the county's not allowing him to do that. So it's just set up in a bad spot between I can't get mowers to mow it, and the county won't let me get the concrete sections removed. So
That's on the trailer park side, it's not the trailer park, not the house.
if we could some way work to get the house removed before next week, that would be tremendous to the fire department. Property needs to be done, so at some point.
Right, yeah, I can't, yeah,
I
I
wonder if
can't.
that whole project is ever gonna make it.
We're still waiting on one more approval for drainage last time. we talked about that. It's been a while.
I'm sending myself a note to check to see if Melvin can do that. I'm certainly be pay for that again.
It's a joint training with us. And Alexandria. But it's not difficult right now. Things are halfway out.
I thought they were gonna tear that down.
Eventually there are, but if the project is through. He also said it might be one of the solvable existing.
This one.
I know another guy that has the property, maybe he'll buy that one. All right,
If we could just get around the house.
yeah, I'll have him mow just like you did last time. If it's not 95 degrees. All right, any other questions on mowing? On the township cemetery, the advertisements have gone in the paper. Actually received a call sometime last several days about it. They wanted to know what was going on. And I told them, I said, they had plots. I said, you're still good. We're just changing names, who's maintaining it. And as soon as I've spoken to Belts Services, we are set. As soon as we get that deed transferred, we're able to then promote it and sell it. I've spoken to a couple of funeral homes. Yeah. We're just waiting on the lawyers. It's waiting in the county at that point, state. Any questions of the cemeteries? Had a couple calls on Richland Township Cemetery, looking good out there. All right, next item is our next meeting is Tuesday, August 11th. We go back on our normal schedule. And then September 10th is a Thursday, again accommodating, hopefully not walk across the bridge up in northern Michigan. So bear that in mind. Vote. That's a budget hearing. I might be able to be back. I'm supposed to be back on that Tuesday, but I didn't want to chance it in case I get hung up, dragging a trailer home from Michigan on that weekend. It's not necessarily the quickest fashion to get home. So we do have our budget hearing on the 11th, 10th, and the vote on the 13th. Again, it's imperative that here, if you're sick, we'll come pick you up and sit you in a corner. All right. Any questions on the meetings? Territory report, Chief.
It's been crazy the last few weeks, couple weeks, especially with all the events, storms and then the heat and air show and fireworks and the parade in Chesterfield. Actually, really kind of catch a breath the last couple of days or so, but we've been busy doing office work, so. Lots of projects, sewer project here going on. Lots of stuff going on. Couple of issues that have popped up with the new ambulance that we're trying to work through, warranty issues, so.
We're going to talk about the sewer here in a little bit. Any questions for the chiefs? If not, projects, we have septic and cement, chief.
Yeah, so, company came down and did repair the septic, kind of exploration of the septic out there. So the tank itself, one of the baffles was broken. It's all concrete tank, one of the baffles was deteriorated. So they were able to do a permanent repair on that baffle. The outflow, one of the problems we were having is the baffle was broken. It's letting solids go right on through. But then the other problem on the outflow side of it, there's also a deteriorated section that replace the pipe. Now, we also were not flowing any liquid out our laterals. So they came in and they did an interesting term, test shoots is what we call them. So basically they came in, they put a rod down in the ground, it vibrates the ground, and lets everything kind of break up. So we did that in several different spots. It started flowing again. one of the things they mentioned to us was the distribution box is a 4-spot distribution box, and we're only using 2. So we said we could add 2 more laterals, 2 more drain field laterals on that distribution box. Sparked a few questions. I asked him about the tank. He said the tank's currently fine, but it is a 50-year-old concrete tank. The adding 2 laterals, we would need to go out in the field. So we got to shoot out 20, so I would say 26 feet out in the field and then 100 foot to the east for each lateral. So we have to reclaim part of that field out there. The other piece of it is I asked him about permitting, and he thought we were exempt from permitting, which we are not. So we would have to, in order to do that, we would need to basically upgrade the entire system to current systems. It's going to be a significant enough project. It's not just a patch job. So kind of did some homework on that, talking to Doug, and basically the kind of steps for that process are is that we need to, he said that current system is working. It may work for another 6 months. It may work for another 6 years. It may work for another 3 months. He doesn't really know. Talking to Doug, I think kind of the game plan is rather just call it done, dig it up, put a new system in, get it up. One of the other things, and I've been doing a lot of research into septic, which probably more about septic now than I really want to know. So commercial projects don't go to the county for approval. You have to go to the state for the approval. The state tells the county, yes, we're good, you can issue a permit. So the problem with that is that bypasses some of the local connections, and there's a process you have to go through. So first step in the process, we have to get a soil scientist to come in, make sure that we can take the flow. Well, there's a formula based on your occupancy on how many gallon per minute flows. So for us, it is how many people we have staffing the station, 75 gallons per person per day. So we have to have a 375 gallon capacity in our system. So basically, once we get that, soil scientist has to come in and say, hey, yes, your soil will take it. And we have to have an engineer come in and look at our system, design a system that will accept that flow. The problem with doing so, if we just threw a couple laterals on it, our system is not designed and it's no longer going to be hydraulically balanced, which I didn't know was a thing either in septic systems, but it is. So basically, long story short of that, our only real option is let it go for as long as it works, or just replace it. And talking to Doug, if we don't want to be in, January having to not be able to do this and it's frozen ground, and we're just going to move forward. Talking to Doug, I think the best plan, we're just going to move forward is getting the process started, get a design system. One, the system was put in 50 years ago when the station was built. It was not intended to have 24-hour living set up here with what we have now. We've added a shower, we've added people, so I think that's kind of where we're at. Go through the checklist of what I have to do, and do I need to contact the state, some soil scientists, a little bit more technical project than what I think.
Okay, you're talking about going out into the field, is that on private property or?
So we own an acre in that field already anyway, Richland Township does. So it's just
We
been
got room to
farmed
do it.
for many years with as Bill knows and Doug knows, farmed for many years at no compensation to the township, with no permission from the township. They just do it. So we've had some problems, and honestly, personal opinion, the septic problem that we have out there right now is them, because they went through the field and drove right over our laterals to take their tractors in the field. So I think that's why.
As we spoke to them,
Yes, they did it again next year, so that's why we put a fence up out there this year. So I think the game plan is, and Doug can elaborate more, is just that acre is no longer gonna be there for long. So we'll do what we need to do to put our system out there and just stay out of our fields.
We need to do before December, isn't it?
Now, are you looking at just a phase system? Or are you looking at a grinder?
that'll be.
The guy from Purge said that he doesn't feel that we will have to do a grinder. But that's gonna be up to the state and the engineering side, so, but he doesn't, when we talked to him, he didn't think we had to have a grinder system here, so. I think our best bet's gonna be is there's some local engineers and some local soil scientists, get them engaged, have them design what our capabilities need to be, and then we can send that out to some people and say, it's price to do this system. Because once we have the plans, we can get the state's rubber stamp on it, That goes to the county, and the county can say, yes, the state's cool, you're on issue a permit, and then all you gotta do is find someone to install the system design. So the hope is not a grinder.
Yeah.
The guy from Purge said that he originally said a new system here, what he thinks would be required would be about 35,000. But that is before all the engineering and all those things, so under 50, I would assume, but it's just gonna depend on what they look at, so.
So my feeling at that juncture is, as you all well know, we've had problems with that. We've actually had to shut down, bring an outhouse in there. We just can't, I mean, I think I've had it jetted 3 times since I've been trustee, I think once or twice. Yeah,
If it's failing, like, that's
yeah, it's,
illegal.
and we don't want to spend all this money on the concrete and then have to dig it all up. Let's, you know, it was not designed for residents. Just got a whole lot more activity and function. Let's fix it. Let's fix it right. You know, we can,
It's not a fun thing to spend money on,
No.
but it's necessary.
and, you know, we will hold off our concrete work till next year if we need to. But this is gonna solve a longer term problem. So I said to Josh, I said, let's bring it up tonight. We've got to get a soil study, we've got to get an engineer, got to get the state. And at some juncture, we need to communicate with the farmer, which we've communicated in the past, and keep driving on it. But at this point, I mean, if we have to take part of our field to fix our septic and they've got some crops planted there, sorry, but that's not gonna happen. They'll probably have pulled the crops in before we're ready for that to happen. But they're obviously, we need to find out who they are and communicate with them and, you know, verify we've got all the surveys. And
I think it might not be, there's a stake out there, but it's not a common identity lines, we just get it, as part of this process, we just get a property line.
get it recertified.
There's survey down on it.
And then there's no argument when it comes time to say, stay off of this part, it's marked, it's.
And then, you know, I've already talked to Josh.
Just run it, like, for it.
I've talked to Josh about putting some more permanent barricade. Let's say permanent, maybe a green T-post or something, you know, every 4 feet so that people aren't driving out there to create a problem.
Our ultimate long-term goal for that out there is we, you know, have had conversations with the chief. We'd like to build a training facility out here anyway, so we can actually, right now, if we want to do fire training, we have to put Anderson's down on the. And that's not, we have to set one station, the other one comes back, so we don't ever really get a chance to train the 2 stations together. It's kind of ultimately the goal anyways, that we tell them to stop farming that, we do something with it. So this might be that kind of first step, figure out what we need for the septic. Obviously, we can't build anything over that, we can't drive on that, then can we, from that point, we start.
Acre ground should be enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he told us we would need 26 foot and 100 laterals to be able to do. And we've already got the 2 laterals out there to build that within, so take that property plus 26 foot from where the box
If you
is.
get close to making a final decision, I would make a suggestion that it's like at the end of the crop year, you notify, because if he goes in and puts stuff on the crop, on the land, he's entitled to that
Right.
for the next season.
We will begin that notification process correctly. That, you know, we're doing our best to keep it going next year, because he'll be purchasing stuff.
Probably send a letter, and that way he's got it, it's in writing, and we come out there and explain it, next year we can be like.
How
Or,
can you do like a?
Yarberry's.
Yarberry was, he
is the one that was, they don't, it's whoever, the guy that owns that part has an agreement with somebody to farm it. And they just assume they can do the whole field, which is the way it's always been. And it was Yarberry's.
So we gotta do some research and find out who that is. And we'll notify them. We certainly want to be good neighbors, but on the same hand, it's our property. And
Yeah, like you might need to like do a certified, like you might talk to the attorney about that.
Well, we'll get our survey done.
The other thing is, you've been farming it for 30 years with no compensation. How about that back crop rent?
That
Come on, pay for something.
For the repair for the
I
system
mean,
that
do
they
they get
crush.
like squatter's rights, you know, do they get they get it? Do they- I don't know.
So
Sneaky old fox.
any other comments? I mean, that's kind of, we have this significant amount of funding to take care of the concrete. That's getting put on hold to take care of the septic. Doesn't mean we won't do the concrete. They get laid over till next year, so. All right, we don't need a motion or anything on that. That's just information. Paint, chief?
Yes, I think we're good on it. Kind of didn't have a consensus agreement, but we had an okay agreement on colors, so democracy wins, I guess, and we'll get it done and get back and start next, I think it's the 16th, next Wednesday. So it's game day, or Thursday, it's game day, start. So,
All day, everything.
So I would assume each section has been painted when it's added on, and that's probably the extent of the paint. So definitely is.
Show them the colors that you
Yeah, so
consensus
kinda-
was.
It's gonna be a two, this red here on the bottom, followed by this, positive red and welcome white, so. Fighting and hey, we're gonna be happy.
It's like a light tan.
So, second color down on this and the last red on there, so a little bit darker than the fire truck. Talked about wanting a red on the bottom, but we didn't want to do red and silver because with red and silver fire truck sitting there and red and silver walls, it's just gonna be like,
Different trends.
wow, so.
You had some other color choices.
Yeah, we thought about crabby apple and lazy gray, those were a couple color options.
John Deere green.
So that project will be hopefully completed by our next meeting.
I think it's
Next week.
So many choices. So many choices of paint color.
All
That's what I'll
right.
tell Scott.
Anything else, chief, projects? When's our ambulance go up for sale?
They're working on this now, so it should be.
That may help our sewage problems.
Should be hoping to get that, so. All the info this way, put this together. They'll start the window.
All right. All right, any questions for chiefs?
Got a question. A friend of mine was at the community hospital last week, and on the way home, he passed out. And he said, East Madison, Chesterfield, Richland, and Anderson all responded. I think Chesterfield finally took him to hospital. A guy named Ed Kerr. And his blood pressure dropped below 40 for some reason. And he passed out. He just got out of the hospital. But he said, all at once, there was 3 different ambulances there. Chesterfield.
General terms, where you got picked up?
I don't know. He's coming from the hospital. I'm assuming he lives just east of the old school over there. Somewhere coming out from the hospital, he passed out. But he was very happy with the service he got.
All right, any other comments? Dale, Bill, Michelle?
Nope.
Chief? Last time I dismissed us, I forgot one night, so I'm being very careful. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Thank you all. Appreciate all your help. Chief, I got to check a couple numbers with you.
Thank you.